Rightio then, next up we've got Cutman. Insert emo joke here. I'm gonna go play Cutman stage in the bathtub and lose. Christ on the cross. So anyway, yeah, you definitely want to stick to the boss order as much as you can, because this is just gonna totally rip your dick off if you don't know what you're doing. When you think of it that way, you start to realize why people why gaming wasn't as big back in the day, when gaming was just so demanding and non-accommodating and aggressive to new players. You know, there's probably some guy out there who tried to play Mega Man 2 for the first time on the Legacy Collection, and he probably went to Quickman stage first, and it's like, oh, you poor soul. Just imagine being a kid and that's like your first introduction to gaming ever, just instant death basically. Or even worse, like, you know, when you're a kid you get like 2 games a year, so imagine the one game that you've got for the next 6 months is something totally crappy like Lester the Unlikely for SNES or something. So I guess in some ways gaming's better now, but then in other ways it's worse. There's good and there's bad. So, you guys been watching Yukino Joe's big mental breakdown he's been having over the last week? He's making like 5 videos a day, and they're all just terrible and nonsensical. And what makes it even weirder is this isn't even the first time he's done this. Something like that happened the year before, where he made Rick and Morty parody. That was the name of his new series. It was like an even lower quality Rick and Morty somehow, and it was really just a front so they could air out I guess his beef with all of the other YouTube animators, and he just let it all go. He had beef with like 20 different people. There was Tom Scar, there was Mr. Enter, there was Sick Animation, on and on and on. He just finally had enough. Maybe I'll do something like that someday. Maybe someday I'll just completely go off the deep end just for the lulz and make 30 videos in 5 days and none of them make any sense at all. Here's a new sprite for the bomb, by the way. Look at that. It's got a symbol on it. It's got a symbol on it, Morty. That wasn't just any old Rick Sanchez impression specifically. That was the Bush World Adventures one, yeah. Bush World Adventures is probably more entertaining than the real thing that they were parodying. To be completely honest, the timing in this spot's a little tight, but thankfully we are prepared. Always come prepared, just like that weird spazzy kid at school who would wear a tool belt unnecessarily. Yeah, be like him. So anyway, yeah, I would say Mega Man 1 is probably one of the easier games out of all the OGs, as the hip urban youth say. To this day, it's the only one that I've managed to ever beat all the way through. But that was in the Wily Wars, so that might not count, because I was playing a PAL game on an NTSC system, so everything was slightly slowed down. So that did make it a bit easier, especially in spots where the timing's super tight, like with the Yellow Devil. See, I don't know if that's legitimate. Look at this, new power, yeah, take that. Roll as a strong woman who deserves your respect. So yeah, like I was saying, the only other Mega Man game I've gotten at least close to beating was 2. I got all the way to the final boss at least, but I never managed to get past that last 1% of the game. That's what got me. Sure would have been nice if one of those guys could have dropped some health. Okay, so we have to be extra cautious here because those 2 large stones are the key to beating him, but they don't respawn in between lives. So we're going to want to save them for the next attempt when I've got full health. Because if we tried to do it without the stones, it would just be like Ricky Berwick trying to fight Joe Rogan. Just not gonna happen. Hey, you know what? It's a nice day out today. Let's have the Let's Play outside today. Okay, so our newfound strength should definitely make quick work of, almost called him Quick Man. Make quick work of Cut Man, see that? As the old saying goes, rock beats scissors. It's like this Reddit post I saw once where this guy, he joked that he was gonna gain a whole bunch of weight and then lose it all, so he just have like a bunch of flabby skin everywhere. And then he wanted to join like the WWE while still having the flabby skin, and everyone would call him the Paper because it would just, be hanging everywhere. And then one day he'd get matched up against Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he'd just like tackle him, and he'd say, "Paper covers rock." And then the following week he'd get hit with a scissor kick and die. People on the internet used to be so creative. You never see that stuff anymore. I'm starting to sound like I'm the biggest boomer there ever was, but feels like the character of the internet has changed, and now all you ever see is just screenshots of people arguing. On social media, at least. I mean, other parts of the internet can still be funny. I saw this thing earlier today. Somebody prank called Stephen A. Smith, asking him about Lightning McQueen and asking him about his 7 championships and trying to trick him into thinking that he was an actual player. And that was the funniest gosh darn thing I've seen all day.
My point is, if you're going to argue with me about something, how about it not be an animated movie like Cars? How about it be something like Fast and Furious? I would have appreciated the question better.
Cars is as real to little kids as much.
You're not a little kid! You're 21! You would have a point if you were 7 years old calling me. You're 21 years old? What are you doing, wearing a diaper? Goodbye, man.
Anyway, putting Stephen A. Smith aside, we got an exploit here. You can let the health items respawn at your own leisure. Was that intentional? Who knows? Who knows, Morty? So this is Fireman's stage. Within the lore of Mega Man 1 at least, all of the Robot Masters were originally supposed to be like utility robots that had uses in the real world before they went rogue, so to speak. And Fireman was originally like welding equipment, and then I think Gutsman was construction equipment of some kind, and I guess Cutman, maybe he was like a pair of hedge clippers or something, I don't know. Anyway, they dropped that idea after the first game. I mean, you look at some of the later Robot Masters, and you got like Quickman, and what's the real life utility for Quickman? You know, they had a contest back in the day where you could design your own Mega Man Robot Masters. That's pretty cool, but I don't know if any of them actually made it into the game or not. It's one of those things like that Go-Gurt contest where you could spend the day with the Disney Channel star of your choosing if you ate enough Go-Gurt and got the special one that had the prize under the lid. It was with that, but you never actually heard of, anybody actually winning the contest. I think it was just sort of aimless marketing. Do this thing and you could win a big prize, maybe. And then nobody ever does. But yeah, with that Disney Channel contest, I think the 3 celebrities you could pick from, you could hang out with Corey from That's So Raven, Phil from Phil of the Future, and maybe Lizzie McGuire was the 3rd one. I'm taking a guess on that last one, just thinking about what was on Disney Channel at that time in the 2000s. Ain't it wild to think that the 2000s are as far away now as the 80s were back then? We're getting old, viewer. Or at least I am. I don't know you. As Mrs. Pancakes from Rick and Morty says, "You don't know me. They should have done more with that character. Oh shit, I forget. I was gonna say, did I forget to cut down the footage? I had to go run to the window and do my usual paranoid peek behind the blinds when I was in the middle of recording this gameplay, so that's what the pause was for. Thinking, damn, this guy's got some problems. We're starting to go outside of the boss order. I only knew the first 3. So this is gonna be a bit tougher, but I think I can muscle through it. It's like, I know the pattern, but that additional flame that comes up underneath really throws off your rhythm. How many lives do we have left? Enough, I guess. Yeah, see? We've got at least 2 chances. If I could put on my game design hat here, I understand what they were doing with putting enemies in the transition area to get your health back, but they forgot that the item drops are randomized, so the player might just not get any health back at all.